Today I want to share a simple yet powerful cheat sheet to make your mind and thinking limitless. Because you see, nothing in your life changes unless you change. And to live without limits, you must first think without limits. But here's the thing, the thoughts or decisions you think you're making consciously may not be as voluntary as you believe. It's so easy to get stuck in your own perspective, right? We all do it. We start to think that our way of seeing things is the only way, and that's where we get trapped. The reality is, your thinking evolves when you invite new perspectives in. That's why if you've worked with me or any other good coach for that matter, you'll notice something. We never push you to be perfect. Why? Because the goal is progress. Small, consistent improvements every day, every hour, and every minute. Take failure for instance. Society loves to label it as something negative, something to avoid at all costs. But if we're being truly honest, failure is one of the most valuable tools for growth. It's not the end of the road, it's the path to mastery. A good coach doesn't scold you for failing. They'll ask, what did you learn? And that's what turns failure into progress. It's about reflecting on your setbacks, seeing what didn't work, and using that knowledge to move forward. So the first pillar in the cheat sheet is the power of attention. You see, attention is not a measure of intelligence, but how you manage it will shape your life. When you try something new, for example, like sticking to a gym routine, it does take effort, and that effort can be draining. This is why we often give up on new habits after just a week or two. It's not that we don't want to succeed, it's that maintaining these activities takes more out of us than we expected, and our attention is limited. We can only truly focus on a few things at a time, especially when they require a lot of effort. Imagine this, you're deep in thought, dwelling on something negative. So think of a moment that you had a negative feeling and keep thinking of that moment. Now try solving a math problem. What's 32 plus 46? Or 63 plus 39? Notice how your negative thoughts fade when you shift your attention. That's the power of attention. You see, negativity only sticks around when you let it dominate your thoughts. The moment you shift your focus, the power of that negativity starts to weaken. This is similar to what happens when you're driving on a busy road. If you're overtaking a truck on a narrow lane, everyone in the car instinctively quietens down. It's not because they're scared, but because they know that the driver needs to concentrate. Attention naturally shifts to what's most important in that moment. This is how selective attention works in our day-to-day lives. But the problem is, we don't often apply it to areas where it could help us the most. Something very closely related to attention is the second pillar, which is involuntary nature of attention and blindness. So let's try something interesting. If I show you a word on the screen right now, you'll almost certainly read it. This is attention at work. Some of it is voluntary, but much of it happens without us even realizing it. The same goes for blindness. You often see others' mistakes more clearly than your own, which can make us think our opinions are always right. You can only see so much on your own, and we all have blind spots, whether we like to admit it or not. The solution? Always be open to learning from others. But here's the key. Don't just take the information, apply it. You could read 100 self-help books, but if you don't implement what you learn, it's like you never read them in the first place. And speaking of applying what you learn, this brings me to the next point, which is anchoring. Imagine you're shopping online and the site shows that bestseller product is for $100. Right away, your brain anchors to that price and assumes it's the best option. You might not even compare it to the other products. Hell, even if you compare it, you'll compare it to the $100. This is called anchoring bias, where the first piece of information you see influences your decision making. It's the same when you hear a strong opinion for the first time. It can shape your entire outlook before you've even gathered all the facts. That's why it's so important to pause and question. Are you making this decision based on facts or because you were anchored to something early on? It takes effort to maintain clear thinking in today's fast-paced world. When we're under time pressure, that effort increases. More self-control is needed than we often realize. That's why reaching a state of effortless attention, or what we call flow, is so important. You've probably experienced it before, when you're so absorbed in an activity that time seems to fly by. Maybe it's while painting, coding, or even playing a sport. But flow is that sweet spot where your attention is fully engaged and everything just clicks. The problem is, many people try to force themselves into flow, but that only leads to anxiety. Flow happens naturally when you're doing something you enjoy and are fully present in. The best part? When you're in flow, your brain releases oxytocin, the love hormone, which makes the experience even more enjoyable. But on the other hand, self-control, especially when resisting temptation, can be draining. Every time you resist temptation or fight a negative thought, you're using mental energy. Your brain uses more glucose, which is its fuel, than almost any other part of your body. That's why emotional challenges like dealing with stress or sadness can leave you feeling physically drained. So what's the takeaway here? To live a limitless life, you need to manage your attention wisely. Don't waste energy on things that drain you without giving anything back. Focus on progress over perfection. Life isn't about achieving everything in one big leap. It's about those small, consistent steps that move you forward. Over time, those steps lead to breakthroughs that you had never imagined possible. If you found this video a tiny bit helpful, don't forget to smash that like button below. I will see you next time, but until then, take care. Bye.